Good afternoon once again, everyone. For those of you who have recently arrived, I'm Steve Stenerson, Chief Executive of US Lacrosse, and I'm honored to be introducing the second of two special dedications today. US Lacrosse is incredibly proud of and thankful for our ongoing partnership with the Intercollegiate Women's Lacrosse Association, and we're humbled that the IWLCA has elected to honor 11 trailblazing coaches along the Chris Saylor Trail at the south end of our field. We're thankful for the opportunity to pay tribute to such a special group of lacrosse coaches and athletic administrators whose leadership and example have paved the way for the opportunities available to today's players. It's now my pleasure to introduce IWLCA President and Lemoyne College Head Coach, Kathy Taylor.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. It is certainly a great privilege to be here today in my role as president of the Intercollegiate Women's Lacrosse Association, also known as the IWLCA. The partnership that we share with US Lacrosse has allowed this special event to actually come to life, and we are so grateful for that. Because, as you can see, this is an extraordinary moment for our sport. The women that sit behind me, collectively referred to as the Trailblazers, have each been individual forces that literally changed the face of women's collegiate athletics. We stand today most humbly grateful for their achievements and accomplishments and for the unbelievable mark that they have left on our sport. At this time, in this home, where the sport's national governing body holds the National Lacrosse Museum, we are heartened that you visitors will be here and visitors in the future to see the change in the women's lacrosse from varsity sports to collegiate competition. They were the pioneers, the women that led in many different ways and wore many different hats. Young men and women will walk the Chris Saylor Trail and be reminded that one by one, the challenges our trailblazers faced and the enormity of their impact in the women's game. The trail allows us to ensure their legacy and their history of this particular game. Every trailblazer here stands individually and collectively responsible for advancing the sport of women's lacrosse, as well as the coaching profession prior to Title IX. The IWLCA selected these women for their leadership and their ceaseless efforts to improve the face of collegiate athletics. The task to select the Trailblazers was a difficult one. These individuals were selected because they led during the transition from the collegiate game, from the physical education departments to the collegiate game to the varsity status beginning in the 1960s through the 1980s. As the plaque states, and I quote, laid the foundation for women's lacrosse before Title IX. And then, with the support of that law, they promoted the growth of the sport and the advancement of women in college athletics. For their commitment, their perseverance, and their spirit, we celebrate their legacy. I will now recognize each of our Trailblazers individually, and as I call your name, I would ask that you would please stand while I share a few words with our friends today. Pat Genovese. Pat was at the College of William Smith from 1971 to 2012. She started that William Smith program in 1972 and amassed a total of 385 wins and a .709 winning percentage over 29 winning seasons. Coach Genovese was honored as the National Coach of the Year 3 times and mentored 94 All-Americans and coached 7 National Players of the Year. She led the Herons to 16 NCAA tournament berths, 11 trips to the semifinals, 5 championship game appearances. Coach Genovese was also a teacher, an administrator, and a tireless advocate for the greater financial support, increased staffing, equitable facilities, and created more opportunities for women in sport. Coach Genovese. I need some water. Tina Sloan Green. Tina Sloan Green coached at Temple University from 1973 to 1992. The first African-American head coach in the history of women's intercollegiate lacrosse. She compiled a 207, 62, and 4 career coaching record with a 75% career winning percentage. Coach Sloan Green guided Temple to 3 national championships, 11 consecutive NCAA Final Four appearances. She has authored 2 books, co-founded the Black Women in Sport Foundation, BWSF. She was a member also of the US national team from 1969 to 1971 and played on touring teams from Australia, New Zealand in 1969 and Great Britain, Northern Ireland in 1970. Tina Sloan Green. All right. Caroline Houserman left her, Caroline Houserman. Caroline Houserman left her mark on 2 programs, beginning with William and Mary, 1964 to 1971, and Pennsylvania, 1972 to 1973. In addition to starting the program at W&M and coaching at Penn, Houserman served as the president of the Virginia Women's Lacrosse Association and spurred its growth. She was the USWLA President from 1968 to 1974 and became its first executive director in 1986, serving until 1990. As an owner of Camp Mearstead, Caroline Houserman trained nearly 1,500 campers every year and mentored a staff of 500 coaches. She was also a nationally rated umpire for 20 years. Caroline Houserman. Kathy Heinz. Kathy Heinz was a builder beginning at Wilson College from 1965 to 1970. She was at Dickinson College from 75 to 76 and at Shippensburg from 1976 to 1978. Coach Heinz started the lacrosse program at Dickinson and then again at Shippensburg University. Kathy Heinz was the coach of the U.S. team from 1973 to 1977, including the 1975 U.S. touring team that traveled to Great Britain and returned an impressive, undefeated 13-0. After proving themselves the top team in the world at that time, She was the founder and president of Central Penn Lacrosse Club. She served as secretary and president of the USWLA and was an internationally rated umpire for many years. Kathy Heinz. Thank you. So needed that. Not present here today, but certainly one of our trailblazers, is Carol Kleinfelder. Carol Kleinfelder was Harvard Lacrosse. She was at Harvard University from 1979 to 2003. Coach Kleinfelder was the first president of the IWLCA after its founding in 1982. Her Harvard team won the 1990 NCAA Tournament Championship, posting an undefeated perfect record, 15-0. Carol Kleinfelder put together an impressive career of 260 wins, 132 and 3 ties overall record, capturing 12 Ivy League championships. She was widely regarded as a champion for women's rights and Title IX, an innovator in the terms of strategy. Coach Kleinfelder was an inspiration and a mentor to her players, as well as other coaches. Her most lasting effect on the game for some of these young people in here today is the development and the innovation of taking the wood stick to the molded stick. The head coaching position at Harvard is endowed in her name, Carol Kleinfelder. Our next trailblazer is Gillian Rattray, who could not be here today, but has 2 people standing in for her, Candace Finn Roca and Betsy Doherty. Gillian Rattray was at Penn State from 1972 to 1985. Coach Rattray chaired the committee that created the first USWLA College Division National Championships. Her Penn State teams won that USWLA title in 1978, 1979, and 1980. Under her leadership and guidance, Penn State directed and hosted the first AIAW National Championship in 1981 for all 3 divisions. Her teams were NCAA finalists in 1983 and 1985. Coach Rattray was listed in the Guinness World Book of Records for being the first coach to win a national championship in 2 different sports in the same year, 1980. She also served as assistant professor of kinesiology in the College of Health, Physical Education, and Recreation until retiring in 1997. Gillian Rattray. Sue Stahl. Sue Stahl began her coaching career at Ursinus College in 1971 until 1981. Temple University, 1983 to 1990, and then Old Dominion from 1990 to 2011. Coach Stahl won 3 Colonial Athletic Association championships and was named CAA Coach of the Year in 1995. She was the head coach of the U.S. Women's National Team from 1998 to 2005 and was honored as the Outstanding World Cup Coach by the IWLCA in 1997. Stahl coached the U.S. World Cup team to four consecutive world championships. 1989, 1993, 1997, and 2001. She was inducted into the National Hall of Fame in '99 and awarded the Diane Geppy-Atkins Lifetime Service Award by the IWLCA. She also received the prestigious Nancy Chance Award by US Lacrosse. Sue Stahl. Sue Tyler. Sue Tyler began her professional career at Cornell in 1969 through 1972. Before she headed to Maryland in 1974 and returned to coaching 1979 to 1990 at Maryland. Sue Tyler coached in 9 national championship games and won the AIAW championship in 1981 and the NCAA championship in 1986. Sue Tyler posted a career 196, 71, and 3 coaching record and was voted Coach of the Year in 1984 and 1986. Tyler then transitioned to athletic administration, serving as the Associate Athletic Director at the University of Maryland and as Athletic Director at the University of Maine. She was an assistant coach for the US national team and served on the NCAA Women's Lacrosse Committee, while also serving in volunteer leadership roles with the USWLA and US Lacrosse. Sue Tyler. Our next up, Lunetta Ware. Lunetta Ware, coach and official, Hollins College, 1962 to 1984. Ware led Hollins to 2 state championships and the runner-up position in the 1979 US WLA National Championships. She officiated for 28 years at the college level and was a technical delegate for umpiring in 1986 and 1989 World Cups. Lunetta Ware served as the first vice president for the USWLA from 1980 to 1986 and served as the first vice president and president for the IWLA, helping to spearhead the international growth of the game. Loretta Ware. Lunetta. We have to take this time because they're so outstanding. We have a few more. And our next up is Marge Watson. Marge Watson put Ursinus College on the map. She started the Ursinus College Women's Lacrosse program in 1957 and led through 1981, posting an impressive 199, 19 losses, and 9 ties. Her career winning percentage of .896 ranks second in all time among college coaches. Marge Watson teams posted 7 undefeated seasons, along with runner-up finishes in the 1979 USWLA National Tournament and the 1981 AIAW College National Championships. Marge Watson helped to found the Philadelphia College Women's Lacrosse Association in 1970 and was named the inaugural recipient of the IWLCA Lifetime Achievement Award, currently known as the Diane Geppy-Akins Award in 2000. Coach Watson was also inducted into the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame in 2014. Marge Watson. Judy Wolstenholme. Judy Wolstenholme coached at Westchester University from 1968 to 1977. Her teams only lost one game during her 9-year career at Westchester. Both a coach and an official, she has officiated over 50 international matches, including the 1982 and 1986 World Cups. Judy Wolstenholme is the first person to officiate an NCAA Division I championship in 3 different sports. Trailblazers, they all. 14 lacrosse Final Fours, 13 field hockey Final Fours, and 1 basketball Final Four. She played for the US first team in lacrosse for 9 years and also played 7 years on the US field hockey team, including the 1967 World Cup. She was very active in the USWLA and attended every national tournament from 1962 until her retirement. Judy Wolstenholme, player, coach, official. As you can see, it's quite an impressive group we have up here. I want to thank US Lacrosse again, and each of you with your enthusiasm to be here with us today to celebrate this milestone and momentous occasion. I would like all our Trailblazers to please stand at this time and ask that all of you in the stands join me in giving them an exceptional, loud round of applause for this group. Thank you.